everyone, it's Mrs. Yuen again, and I'm back with another story. And today's story is A Weekend with Wendell. And in this story, we have two characters. We have Sophie and Wendell. And in this story, Wendell comes to spend a weekend with Sophie. And the weekend doesn't go quite as Sophie had imagined. So let's find out what happens. A Weekend with Wendell by Henkes. On Friday afternoon, Wendell's parents dropped him off at Sophie's house. "Wendell's going to spend the weekend with us," said Sophie's mother, "while his parents visit relatives out of town." Do you know what relatives are? Relatives means they're family members. So Wendell's parents are going out of town to visit family members. "Oh boy," said Wendell. Sophie didn't say anything. After a snack, Sophie helped Wendell carry his sleeping bag and suitcase upstairs. "Well, what are we going to do now?" asked Wendell. "Do you have any toys?" Sophie pointed to her toy chest. "Is that all you got?" said Wendell. "I've got 1,000,000 times more than that. What else is there to do around here?" "We could play house," said Sophie. "Only if I can make the rules," said Wendell. Seems to me like Wendell's being a little bossy. So, they played house, and Wendell made the rules. He was the father, the mother, and the 5 children. Sophie was the dog. Then they played hospital. Wendell was the doctor, the nurse, and the patient. Sophie was the desk clerk. So he's taking all of the big roles, and he's making Sophie do the smaller roles. When they pretended they worked in a bakery, Wendell was the baker, and Sophie was a sweet roll. "Isn't this fun?" said Wendell. Sophie didn't say anything. Do you think Sophie is having much fun right now? I don't think so. And if I were Sophie, I would not be enjoying myself either. At dinner, Wendell said that he was allergic to anything green, so he didn't have to eat his vegetables. And then, when Sophie wasn't looking, he scooped the whipped cream off her dessert. "When is Wendell leaving?" whispered Sophie. "Soon," said her mother. "Soon," said her father. Oh. Dessert is the best part of any meal, and Wendell ruined Sophie's. That's not very nice. Question though, speaking of dessert, what is your favorite type of dessert? My favorite type of dessert has anything with chocolate on it. If it has chocolate, I like it. After Sophie's parents tucked Sophie into bed, zipped Wendell in his sleeping bag, kissed them both, and turned off the light, Wendell grabbed his flashlight and shone it right in Sophie's eyes. "See you tomorrow," he said, smiling. Sophie shut her eyes. "I can't wait for Wendell to go home," she said to herself. Poor Sophie. On Saturday morning when Sophie woke up, there was a lumpy blue monster jumping up and down in her bed. It was Wendell. She felt something pinch her leg at breakfast. It was Wendell. Oh, Wendell is quite the mischievous little mouse. What do you think mischievous means based off of what he is doing? she heard scary noises coming from the broom closet. It was Wendell. Wendell used Sophie's crayons and left them on the porch so they melted. Oh, that's not very nice. That's not being responsible with materials at all. And if you look closely at what Wendell is writing, he is writing the words, Sophie did it. He's blaming her, and she didn't do anything. Ooh, that Wendell. At lunch, Wendell finger painted with his peanut butter and jelly. Isn't this fun? Said Wendell. Sophie didn't say anything. When is Wendell leaving? Whispered Sophie. Soon, said her mother. Soon, said her father. It looks to me like all three of them are getting a little tired of Wendell, don't you think? By the way, how would your mother and father react if you finger painted with peanut butter and jelly? I think you'd be doing some cleaning. I know what. At bedtime, when Sophie put her head on the pillow, she heard something crunch. It was a note from Wendell. It said, "See you tomorrow." Sophie shut her eyes. I can't wait for Wendell to go home, she said to herself. Oh. Before Wendell's parents picked him up on Sunday morning, he tried to make a long-distance call. He wrote his name on the bathroom mirror with toothpaste. Oh. Wendell. And he gave Sophie a new hairdo with shaving cream. Want to go outside and help me wash this off? Asked Sophie. We could play firefighter. Oh boy, said Wendell. Another game. I wonder if it's going to go as poorly as the other games they played. Do you think Wendell's going to take all of the important roles and Sophie's going to get stuck with the small roles? Let's see. So, they played firefighter and Sophie made the rules. She was the fire chief. Wendell was the burning building. Isn't this fun? Said Sophie. Wendell didn't say anything. Do I get to be the fire chief? Asked Wendell. Maybe, said Sophie. So she's giving Wendell a little taste of his own medicine. She decided to take the big role. Let's make a prediction. Do you think she's going to share the role of the fire chief with Wendell? Let's find out. Soon, Wendell and Sophie didn't care who was the fire chief or who was the burning building. So they're learning to play together and share. It's much more fun when you can share with your friends. Time to go, said Sophie's mother. Time to go, said Sophie's father. Already? Said Wendell. Already? Said Sophie. When is Wendell coming back? Asked Sophie. Never, said her mother. Never, said her father. They do not want Wendell to be another house guest. That afternoon, when Wendell unpacked his suitcase, he heard something crunch. It was a note from Sophie. It said, I hope I see you soon. there is Sophie's note on the back of the book. So, at the beginning of that story, Wendell and Sophie didn't really get along, but as they got to know each other, she ended up liking Wendell in the end, and they became friends. And they learned how to play and work together. And what I like in that story is that they were using their imagination to play pretend a lot. Do you like to play pretend? I know when my sister and I were little, we would pretend to be ice skaters, and we would put on our fuzzy socks, and we would go into our kitchen, and we would glide and slide across the kitchen floor, and it was really fun. So I want you to tell me what your favorite thing to play is. Maybe it's house, maybe it's being a fire chief, maybe it's being a doctor. I want you to tell me what you like to do when you play pretend, because there are so many fun things and I want to know what you do at your house. So let me know what your favorite thing to do is when you play pretend with your brothers or sisters or even your moms and dads. Moms and dads are really good at playing pretend too. I hope you enjoyed this story. I enjoyed being with you today. I will see you tomorrow. Bye!